Hey everybody, Lieutenant Joe here for the Blue Heart Podcast, the place for law enforcement. I'm glad you're on board. Now, like, subscribe, right? We're growing, but we need to grow faster. A lot of good information here, training, funny stories, case histories, all kinds of things I try and bring to you. Our sponsors, blue360media.com. They publish my books and lots of other great stuff. We're having training soon. Go take a look. Riot Tint. They make excellent window safety film for any facility, and medicalessentialdiagnostics.com. Now, they don't have a poster for the wall yet. I keep asking for it, but eventually they'll get me one. Medical Essential Diagnostics is a New Jersey based company. They give any state worker, first responders, anybody with a government job in New Jersey gets a free health screening. Well, not free. They don't like me to say free. No cost to them. And you can bring two adult members of your family with you. Amazing place. Medicalessentialdiagnostics.com. Go get checked out. Make sure you're healthy. All right. So if I was to say the name to you, this name, and it is a name, Flugie, Flugie, Flugie. What's your initial thought on that name? Flugie. What's that sound like? Like somebody hocking a loogie, right? Boom. Not the hock to a girl, but you know what I'm saying. Hocking a loogie, right? That kind of thing. So who is Flugie? How about Johnny Boy? Who's Johnny Boy? Well, it was a funny thing. In our detective bureau, we had informants and people that got themselves in trouble and they decided to work with us to try and get out from under charges, fines, whatever. And they gave us, good information on criminal activity, and we worked with them. Some people were repeat users that would show up because they got themselves in trouble all the time. Well, Flugie was a kid, not a bad young man. Actually came from a normal family, but he was a partier. I met him when he was 18 years old. He had got himself in trouble. I think he was stealing from Sears or something like that, and he got locked up shoplifting. And he was shoplifting so he can get money so he could buy. He wasn't a heroin junkie. It was before the big heroin wave, but he liked crack and he liked pot. And he stole so he could trade it in. And there was a place in Asbury Park that would take all stolen property for money or for drugs, right? They would give you drugs if that's what you wanted. So this kid would steal from wherever and go there and trade it in. And that's how I came across him the first time. Well, I didn't want to use his name. You don't want to use his name in documents. You know how you write a document, a search warrant, or an affidavit. We never say the person's name. Confidential source number one. CS1 said CS1 could help the police. We use that kind of language. Well, amongst us in our group, our detective bureau, we had so many different informants because we worked informants. We encouraged the patrols to make informants. It was really very good. We got a lot of information that way, and we had to keep track of who we were talking about. Because you never know who's listening. There's people in the bureau making a statement. Well, Frank Jones, remember that guy? He's working, and you got to be very careful with what you say, how you use somebody's name. So I remember sitting there, and my partner Chuck says to me, "Who's that guy you're working with on the stolen property job?" And I almost said his name, and I said, "Flugie. He's a Flugie, just like a fly on a wall. He's Flugie." And oh, okay, Flugie. So then that's how we started to refer to this kid. Hey, I saw Flugie the other day. He tells you he's going to call you. Hey, we're using who are you using tonight? We're using Flugie tonight, right? It just became his nickname. Um, Over the course of several years, if you ever watch my program and we talk about, I do a training program on working with informants, and one of the things that I tell you, pitfall, is that you can blur the lines sometimes with an informant, and see yourself as oh, he's not such a bad person. She's all right. They're just in a bad way. And I'm not saying you become best friends with them, but the nature of the relationship can change ever so slightly so that you see them and you see them differently than as a criminal working to get their charges taken care of, right? You always got to keep them in that place because you don't want to step over that line. I know lots and lots of cops, lots of them, believe it or not, how many, who got involved with, male cops who got involved with female informants and ended up stepping over the line, having relationships with them, one-time relationships or long-term relationships, and losing their position, losing their jobs, losing their families over these things, because we can blur the lines, right, when you're using people. So Flugie was a young kid compared to me. I was, 30 years old, and he was 18 or 19, and he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't a fighter. He wasn't a robber. He was a get over guy. Flugie was a get over guy. That was his gig. He learned how to get over on people, and he took advantage. And that's how I get a call from his attorney. Hey, listen, my client, Flugie, now, of course, he would use the real name. He just got pinched over in Neptune for, whatever, car burglary. And he says, you've worked with him in the past. Could you give him a voucher to the Neptune detectives? Sure. Or you get a call. Hey, listen, this kid just got in trouble, and he says he worked with you before. He wants to do something. Can he come in and say, yeah, send him in. So I ended up doing quite a few jobs with this kid because well, first of all, we never went one for one. If we caught him with cocaine and he wanted help, he had to do 3 dealers for us. 3 dealers that did more than whatever he had. We weren't going to buy a $50 bag of Coke from a guy when he got caught with a $50 bag. I wanted more than that. I wanted a half-ounce guy. Give me a half-ounce guy, and we did 3 of them. So we worked on a lot of jobs over the course of time. But this kid, Flugie, like I said, not a bad guy. I had to remember to keep him in his distance because he called me one time. Hey, can I ask you something? What? And it was something about his grandmother, but he didn't know anybody of authority. I was the only person he knew of authority, and his grandmother was having some problem, and she lived in town. And he's like, listen, who do I call to get help for my I said, dude, what are you calling me about this for? Call town hall, because I realized that starts a step over the line. Now it's like we're friends now. And I didn't want that. I couldn't have that. And I had to cut him off. And he ended up getting his grandmother the help she needed. And it was nothing serious, but something within the township could handle. But you got to be careful of that. That was Flugie. If I told you the jobs that he did, some of the funny things, he was going to have, there was another group that he didn't like, group of guys and girls that he didn't like very much. And he says, I can do them. They're selling pounds of weed, and they break them up into quarters, and I can buy a quarter pound, no problem. Okay. So we were doing over here. Yeah, I want a quarter. I got the money. Where? And he goes, come to my house. I said, dude, what are you doing? Have him come to your house. We got to go to the 7-Eleven lot like we usually use. He goes, no, it's cool if they come to my house, right? I hate this kid, right? So we had a conversation, and there was other people looking at this kid. This kid was much bigger than Flugie. He was an actual really hot dealer at the time. He did work in pounds. So we worked at the prosecutor's office and a couple other people because a lot of people had targets on the guy. We said, okay, he's willing to come to his house. We'll do the deal in front of the house because he knows where the kid lives. They all know each other. It's not like it's a mystery. And we said, here's the deal. When he pulls up, the classic sign. He pulls up, you run out, you talk to him. When you see that he's got the quarter pound in the car, turn your hat around and we'll run up and arrest everybody like we're looking at you. We'll pretend we have a search warrant for your house and we happen to get this guy in the net. So we're all sitting around, we're doing our surveillance, and you see the car pull up, guy and a girl. And then we see, here comes Flugie out of the house, and they're out there doing their thing and they're talking. He's not flipping a hat. He's not flipping a hat. And we're all, is he stupid? Did he forget to flip his hat? What's going on? Then all of a sudden you see the car door open, the guy and the girl get out with Flugie and they go back in the house. Saying, what the hell is going on? Right? Now, we weren't concerned for his safety. It wasn't a thing like that. But all of a sudden I get a phone call, and it's the kid. He's in the house. He goes, hey, listen, they wanted to come in the house, so I'm in here. Is there dope in there with him? Yeah. Does he have a gun? No, no guns. Just this idiot, and he's in my house. Okay, we're coming in, right? So we go up to the front door, and Grandma says, come on, there's a drug dealer in my grandson's room. And we go in, and here's Flugie. He's counting the same $40 he had. He's counting it like 12 times in a row, like as though he had a big stash of money. And of course, we jump on everybody, and the guy and the girl had the dope. And but that was the kind of things this kid did. But he did many, many jobs for me. There's even funnier ones I could tell you. Maybe I'll tell you in the future. But his nickname was Flugie, and I think of the name. So that's why I said Johnny Boy. Was another guy we came across, and he was Johnny Boy 1. And then we had Johnny Boy 2. We had Johnny Boy 3. And we knew who each one was by the tone of the voice. Who's coming tonight? Johnny Boy. We knew it was this guy. Who's coming? Johnny Boy is coming tonight. We knew it was that guy. It's just a funny thing within the bureau and within cops doing their jobs. So that's kind of a Tales from the Road. I guess you could say that's a Tales from the Road episode, but that's about the names and the things that you see when you're a cop out there. This is an excellent job. It is a lot of fun. We had such a good time. As I tell these stories and I relive them, there's 100 more that go with each and every one of them. So make your own stories out there. Do the right thing. Be safe. And thank you for serving the public, right? As a retired guy now, knowing you're out there makes me feel better. All right. So be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, my friends. We'll catch you down the road.